We are live. Okay, cool. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live. Whether you're watching it live or on replay, thank you for joining us for our second segment. This is four, but this is okay, so two. This is our second segment in this campaign called Literacy is Life. So, this one is going to focus on literacy in the workforce. As a reminder, this campaign is meant to deconstruct what we already know about literacy and to develop new meanings for it. This is also a great opportunity to highlight amazing community members and providers in the Houston area who are providing resources and creating initiatives to strengthen literacy all over Houston. As a reminder, my name is Jessa. I will be your moderator throughout this series. I am a community engagement vista at the Alliance. So as I said, we're talking about literacy in the workforce today, and we have some great guest speakers. So today joining us is Ashley Griffin and Evelyn Mesa. Hello.
Hello.
Ashley is a workforce development instructor and career navigator here at the Alliance. And Evelyn Mesa is the HR manager for Professional Janitorial Services of Houston. Welcome to both of you. Thank you for joining me today. It is always great to have great community members as guest speakers, especially to talk about literacy in our community. So I just want to start off with kind of telling us about yourself, how literacy impacts you in your unique roles, as an instructor and as an HR manager. So Ashley, I'll let you kind of talk about yourself, let people get to know you.
Certainly. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Griffin. I have over 20 years of diverse work experience, and it inspired me to get into teaching English as a second or foreign language. And in these days, it's been predominantly or online, but I did begin in person. I've taught all ages. And with that experience, being able to teach so many different ages, you do find yourself realizing that literacy goes beyond just needing the ability to read and write in a particular language. Literacy is competency and knowledge in a specific area. And in this pandemic time frame that we're all living in, the biggest thing to me when I think about literacy is digital success. If people are able to navigate the type of things that we need now in order to be able to learn in a more productive and beneficial manner. Beyond those things, on a academic side, I am involved in TESOL International Association, which is global. So there's a lot of avenues to learn there. The Texas Computer Education Association, also known as the TCEA. And I am a proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
Great. Thank you so much for that introduction and that background. I mean, a huge active community member here. And let's bring it over to Evelyn. Tell us more about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Evelyn Mesa, and I'm the Human Resources Manager for Professional Janitorial Service, as Jessa mentioned. And literacy is very important, not just to me, but to our company. In particular, I couldn't agree more with Ashley on the different broad spectrum of literacy. In our case, is the English language. We have a lot of employees who are from many different countries, and being fluent in English is something that is very important to be able for us to be able to help our employees to become fluent, and it's a big part of what our company does and promotes. Personally, I'm very passionate about it because I myself, English is not my first language, and you can probably notice it by my accent, but I moved here young enough, but I was 15, so I was kind of in the middle of not being an adult yet, but learning at a later age. So I understand the learning curve for everyone, and the importance of getting those skills, because it opens so many doors. In our case, it gives us the ability to be able to promote our team members, to be able to give them better positions. And what I always tell them is whatever they learn, they take with them everywhere. So even in their personal life, it's very rewarding to see them comfortable speaking English and utilizing it with their children, and in their everyday, not just at work. So we definitely recognize the importance and really, really support our employees in that sense to learn English.
Yeah, and thank you for that introduction. Both of you mentioned kind of, and what this is what we can tie back into the last segment about how right now, literacy is continuing to be redefined. It's a complex definition now that we, post pandemic. And I wanted to ask, why is adult education important in your specific roles, right? So for Evelyn, for you, you're teaching employees English or providing resources for these employees to learn English. And so why is that important to teach to your employees as they go out into the workforce?
Yeah, I mean, it's giving them the tools that they need to just feel confident, comfortable, for us to be able to promote them to better paying positions that require that communication. We have we have amazing employees who are really hardworking, but there are certain jobs or certain positions that require for them to be able to communicate with our clients. And if our clients are not Spanish speaking or other language, or they only communicate in English, then we have the need for those employees to be able to communicate with them. And in our case, it gives us the ability to present those employees to better opportunities. And again, it goes beyond that. It's also very rewarding to see them just be themselves and comfortable, being able to strike a conversation with the client, or go back to school for other things that they want to pursue. So it has definitely been beneficial for them.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. Especially what I got out of that is that helping employees, you're providing them with a unique opportunity. Like the opportunity is the biggest factor here, right? Because not only is there a matter of having to now work, but also creating connections with other people in order to, essentially get better in the workforce. And so, Ashley, you come from it at a different angle because you're an instructor here at the Alliance, and you're actually helping community members get to that point in which they can get a job. And so from your experience or from what you've seen with your students, why is adult education important for you and for your students to learn as they go into the workforce?
Adult education is exceptionally important, not just because of the workforce, but because of survival skills, of living skills. At the Alliance, we work with so many different clients from all walks of life, new immigrants, those who have been here for a while, who have depended on the skills of their family members who are able to speak more fluently than they are and more confidently. We also are at a point now where we do provide on-site services for employers through our English at Work program. So we do have a working relationship with Tony's Mexican Restaurant, where people who are actively at work, who need those diverse skills, are putting them into action within their workspace. These things are so important because although the youth are responsible for making the changes come to fruition, the adults have to lead it. And if we don't have a space where they feel comfortable in being able to use computers, speak confidently in multiple languages, not feeling as if they have to suppress their accents or the language that they already speak in, but being able to make some cohesiveness happen with those experiences and those languages, that literacy skill is going to set a new standard, a new bar that those who follow after the adults will be able to follow suit and improve on. So it's just really exciting hearing the students that we have at the Alliance bring their experiences from their home countries. We have people who are from South America, as well as further in areas of Northern and Eastern Africa, which is very diverse. And just hearing the experiences and the accomplishments that they had in their home country and bringing it here, and not necessarily starting over, but beginning a new chapter. Being literate is absolutely, bar none, the greatest asset that they'll have. It helps you build on your confidence, it helps you build on the experiences you already had, and you can share that knowledge with others in that way.
Yeah. Evelyn, do you have any thoughts?
Oh no, I mean, absolutely. It's all about them. It's also a part of adapting. We, like Ashley mentioned, we also have employees from very various diverse backgrounds, and it's amazing that to also see them just bringing in their culture, mixing it with learning the new culture. It also has to do with those everyday survival skills and fitting into the new culture that they're in, or and they do that in many ways, speaking is one of them.
Yeah, and most definitely. And so my next question, based on your guys' conversation is, Evelyn, you bring up adaptability. And so, right, like last segment, we did talk about the gap that we're experiencing in literacy. And so while there are employers or employees that are helping or let me bring that back, employers bringing employees to adapt, what is essentially missing at the ground floor? Why are not more community member? I know it's a loaded question. It's a very hard question, and I did this last time. So, what is missing? What is barring other community members from knowing, maybe about your services, Evelyn, or about ESL at the Alliance? Ashley, either one of you can go first.
Yeah, well, in our case, sometimes we definitely communicate to all of the employees, but we have employees who unfortunately are not able to make the commitment, the time commitment to get into this program. So in this case, actually, we're part of English at Work as well. So we make it as convenient to them as possible with incentives for them to be able to attend these classes. But many of our employees, they're amazingly hard workers. They have families, they have multiple jobs. And I think our challenge sometimes is getting through them to know that it is an investment in themselves at the end of the day. It's the resources are there, the classes are available. They maybe they're shy because they think that that there are different levels. Maybe there are other literacy challenges like reading and writing. But one thing that with English at Work, when we were introduced at English at Work, one thing that we learned and was very helpful to us is the importance of having instructors who specialize in adult education. That is definitely something that helps close that gap, because we tried, I've been here, I think I mentioned it, 12 years with PJS, and we've had different programs throughout the time. And the most successful one has been English at Work, because I recognize, and our team members recognize, that it is because the instructors know that adult learning is different than everything else, and they have that skill set to be able to get to these classes that have diverse backgrounds, diverse knowledge, diverse levels, diverse everything. And I think that is one of the factors that helps for us close that gap to get our employees to finish the programs. Of course, time is a big factor, and other responsibilities is a big factor in our particular for our.
Great. Yeah, and I totally agree with a lot of what you said. Meeting them where they are is also a very important thing, right? ESL at Work is meeting them where they are. I know about Tony's Mexican restaurant, and these workers go in before their shift starts, a few hours, and they do a class. And so meeting them where they are is very, very important in closing that gap. And so Ashley, to go to you, what do you think about? Um, oh my gosh, I was like, yeah. Well, think about the question. Think about how loaded this question is, and how to close that gap. I was like, yeah, just saying.
The biggest thing, and I'm going to quote some statistics from the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation, poverty is the root cause of low literacy. So given the circumstance that in Houston alone, we have 1 in 4 Houstonians who don't have a high school diploma, GED, or equivalent, you're working with people who are within kindergarten to about third grade base level of comprehension. Most of us, when we're picking up on another language, we learn what we need to survive the environment, not to read it, not to write it. We can tell you, I can't speak English, where's the bathroom, and help me. So when you have those limited skills there, and you didn't get as far as you could in the structured academic environment in your home country, those limitations are going to be very difficult to bump up against. So in doing things that provide people opportunities to further themselves so that the poverty line starts to diminish even more, although we're seeing a lot of things that could make that difficult, helping them realize, hey, if you accomplish this one goal, this short-term goal that we're focusing on, then we can move you into a job that you feel more proud of being a part of. It's not something that you're doing just because you have to make ends meet. This is what you aspire towards at the level that you are at. And while you're working through that and helping others, that changes the dynamic of a whole household. That changes the dynamic of an entire community. I grew up in a family where the majority of the women in the family at this point have college degrees, be it an associate's or a master's or a doctorate's. If I am in a position where that's something I've never experienced, I don't have the same motivations. I'm looking for money to make to take care of my family. So when you're connecting financial literacy with day-to-day career literacy, then that literary side, that reading and writing side gets reinforced and becomes more important.
Yeah, of course. And again, that's kind of redefining what literacy already is. It's not just reading and writing. It's more, it's, oh, I don't know how to improve my credit score. Oh, I don't know how to get a loan, or I don't know how to apply to this job. I don't know what qualifications they need from me. And so, uh, all of what you guys have said has definitely kind of provided us and the audience with more of an inside look on what workforce might mean in terms of literacy, or literacy in terms of workforce. And so both of your guys' organizations work heavily with community members and get them to develop, again, equal opportunities to get into the workforce, or to get a house maybe. And so my next question is, how can employers work with providers, people like the Alliance, or, Evelyn, with you, with other providers? How can employers work with providers to essentially create more opportunities for adult education? I know, Evelyn, for this is the first time for me to hear that an HR manager is actively helping employees, right, learn English. And so, yeah, I want to understand that more. I think that's a unique, I want to understand that in the sense that why are not other employers doing the same?
And I was gonna say, maybe that's a question for Ashley, because we are sold. I mean,
Right.
at PJS, it's kind of funny because I remember when I initially interviewed with PJS, these was one of the things prior to my previous life was with HEB, who's definitely very motivated to also train employees. I always say I grew up in HEB, just learning different skills. So we worked for some time in English as a second language program for employees, and I really enjoyed that when I was with HEB. So when I interviewed with PJS and they shared with me that they were doing something similar, I was really excited. Little did I know that I will be one of the teachers when I first came on board. So when I talked about the progress of our classes, we started with our now company president and one of our managers and myself, we were the ones that did the classes. And of course, we were not trained and didn't know what we were doing, but I guess the good intention was there. And we joked too that all of our students ended up with an accent like ours when we were trying to teach them. But eventually we've kind of moved on. And when we learned, we were first introduced to English at work through the Houston Center for Literacy. This was a few years back, I don't know, 5 or maybe 6 years ago. And our feeling was, where have you been this entire time? Because we hired a teacher at some point. We provided materials in a, again, it doesn't have to be sold to us, because another big factor is the majority of our upper management, English is our second language, number one. And also when it comes to our management team, our core management team, most of them were people who started in our industry cleaning and have slowly moved up to their roles. And with that, they've it's been a lot of on-the-job training as far as like learning and enhancing the leadership skills, their management skills, the time, all of that has been something that they've learned along the way. So we definitely have full support, not just from me, but from all of our teams. So it's a win-win. That's how we see it.
Yeah. And yeah, I didn't know that it was actually there before you were
Oh yeah.
there.
It was, and I was,
yeah.
oh, you do English classes for that's amazing. I would love to do that. And I didn't
Right.
know that meant I'm teaching too on Saturday, which was also a great opportunity for us. I'm not sure this is relevant, but we got to meet those employees one-on-one. That is why sometimes we stop in the classes, because then we know that those are the employees who are investing in themselves. They want to learn, they want to grow. And often those are the employees that are next in line to be promoted into something in a different role, because they have that drive to continue to learn, continue to grow, and continue to enhance their skills.
Right. And
Also
Ashley, oh yeah. Yeah. And Ashley, you can and you can speak to this more than I can, but the people who come, the more my expertise is pretty low, but from what I've seen at the Alliance, the community members that come in are invested in themselves. And with ESL, the way adult education, that program is managed, and I want to just throw the question over to you, because Evelyn did mention that maybe you would be able to answer this question. How can employers kind of work with providers like us to create more opportunities for adult education? I know ESL at work is another big thing, but what do you think?
It's a huge thing. I think one aspect of it, like the Alliance, our mission is to create opportunities for refugees, immigrants, and underserved residents, so that they're achieving their goals for self-sufficiency and improving their quality of life. That's our focus. That needs to be the focus of the businesses as well. There's a lot of, using this a little bit loosely, there's this term called NIMBY, not in my backyard. It's usually talking about building things within certain areas and whatnot, but it can be applied to people as well when you're not focusing on the needs of immigrants. Oh, that's someone else's issue to focus on. That would be the mayor's department to focus on, or that would be the government's department. It's all our responsibility. We are hearing the numbers, we're hearing the news and the facts of how much the nation is diversifying. So that has to be a part of the fabric of a business. It cannot just be for the benefit of making money. It has to go beyond that. And consumers are looking for that now. They're looking for a more community focused, ethical, philanthropic drive with the businesses that we patronize. So if the leaders of these businesses, these managers, these owners and whatnot, start to really think about it, the assets are their employees, because the employees make the opportunities for the business to expand. You have to pour into your asset. So when you start looking on Google and asking around at networking events and rubbing shoulders with other professionals, hey, I see that some of your staff is 30% Hispanic or Spanish speaking, is Latinx. how are you working with them? What are you doing? We know that they might speak other languages. And when you start finding out about those resources, you're sharing that information instead of hoarding it. So it's a very important thing for us nonprofits to be able to reach out and make our voices heard as well. So the community knows we're here and we're eager to help and we're ready to serve. But the businesses also have to kind of have a heart to look for us as well. And the language classes at the Alliance, we have a lot of program centers. I work for just one of them, but there's the Center for Entrepreneurship. Some of these people aspire to have businesses of their own on American soil, or Center for New Americans. Once they're immigrants, they might not just be focused on learning a language, they might need some driving literacy as well. So keeping an eye out for each other and not just looking at each other as just another person. I mean, if anything, the pandemic has really put us in a space of really seeing what matters. So when you take that mindset into helping others become more literate and more prepared to live in this society, this new society that we're all experiencing together, then I believe that would be a greater motivation and a greater positive outcome for everybody.
Yeah, and I think you kind of hit it nail on the head. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Weird expression, but you kind of hit it with you saying that from what I've gotten right. Not only does nonprofits have to kind of put our resources out there and try to include more outreach, but businesses need to think ideally the same. They need to see that these people who are actively learning a second language aren't just there to survive. They are there because they are a whole being. They want to do other things other than, just learn English. There is so much more to literacy. And so I ended the segment last time with a pretty big question. I'll ask you guys too, as we close out. How can we get Houston to be 100% literate? I know it's a big question. I threw it out on them. I'll throw it out on you guys. Just in a few sentences, and last time we just talked about the need for more community support, or the lack of accessibility for the community members. Maybe we're just not reaching enough, and we need practical solutions in order to get to that point. So I'm gonna throw it to you guys. Who wants to start?
That is a really hard question. I agree with that.
Yes.
It definitely is.
Big problems can not be solved with one answer. I mean, I think that there are definitely lots of things that can be done from different aspects, and I don't know. I think just like anything else is information, or getting the information out there and educating people about the need and benefit of these. I know that I have some awareness of what happens because I see it in my team members. I see it in my group. I see it every day, and I know that not all jobs, not all positions or companies experience the same thing. But I think that I learned a lot from partners like you, who do this every day as well, and who keep me informed and abreast of what is happening, out there. So I think definitely the more people that we can reach that can get involved, the better, that can pass along the word. And those partnerships with, I think, employers and organizations like yours can definitely partner up to make a difference. Just one small thing out of, I'm sure, a lot of potential solutions that can be out there.
Yeah,
Evelyn is completely right. It's so many angles to take this.
But you're doing something though. Well, everything is going to contribute to something bigger, right? Like, we're creating these steps in order for people to say, hey, there's actually something that we can do as a community. So Ashley, answer.
I gotta lean on the side of an educator, because that's what I am. Education for all, and not just reserving it to those of us who have access to smartphones and computers. There are plenty of people at home who don't have that, who don't have flat screen TVs and all of that. So making education a part of your daily existence. It's beyond just being in a classroom. It has to be something you desire, and when you make it sound like it's a necessity, it becomes more ingrained. A lot of people just stop learning once they leave school. And that's frightening. That's limiting when there's so much that you can know. So, really advocating for education in all of its diverse facets, I believe that'll be one way that we can improve the city.
Thank you. Thank you for both of your answers. I know that was a very loaded question, but it did contribute to this conversation, and it contributed to the fact that we are creating these necessary conversations about literacy and about how literacy is ever changing in its definition. And so this is kind of concludes our Facebook Live. Thank you both for joining me today. Ashley, again, if anyone wants to do ESL classes, we have an upcoming session at the Alliance.
And the
So
orientation next week.
Yes. Yeah. So just follow us on social media. Evelyn, how can we contact you if we want to know more about your workforce?
Sure. My email, it's easy, emesa, so EMEZ as in zebra, at pjs.com. And our
Cool.
website, we have some information actually about the different programs that we have for
Yeah.
our employees on our website as well, pjs.com. There's a link for PJS of Houston, and there's more information about our company and the different programs that we have for our team members.
Great. Thank you guys again for joining me. The next segment of this live will be on Monday, the 23rd. So next week, Monday at 5 p.m. the same time, we will be tackling family and multi-generational literacy. So thank you again, and I hope everyone has a great day. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
having me, Jessica.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.